Parshas Balak, the Sefer Or Gedal Yohu, a wonderful Sefer which I encourage everyone to get a set if it's available, has a following Gevaldik Vart on Parshas Balak, which is one of the most fascinating parshas in the entire Torah. It of course discusses the Nevuah and Nevuos of Bilam, the Nevios of Bilam, the fact that Bilam, a Rasha, became a Navi for the Goyim, and his failed attempt, Baruch Hashem, to bring a Klal on Klal Yisrael. So the Maharal Diskin is quoted in the Or Gedal Yohu, and is quoting a Rashi in Masechta Bava Basra, Daf Yud Daled Amid Beis. And Masechta Gemara says, Moshe Kosav Sifroi uParshas Bilam b'Sefer Iyov. Moshe Rabbeinu wrote his Sefer, which is Chamisha Chumshei Torah, the Parsha of Bilam, and the Sefer Iyov. Rashi says, why is the Gemara giving this distinction to the Parsha of Bilam? And Rashi says, and I'll quote it, Parshas Bilam Eino Keshar HaTorah, She'eno Ela Nevuoso Mishalav Shel Bilam. And all the Mefarshim struggle with and tackle this enigmatic Rashi. Rashi is saying that the Parsha of Bilam is not like the rest of the Torah. And we know that every single pasuk in the Torah, whether it's the Asasa Dibros or the Yichus brief of Esav HaRasha, every word of the Torah has Kedusha, the same exact level of Kedusha as every other word in the Torah. So what could Rashi possibly be meaning here? That's one kasha. Another kasha which he raises, which is another very fundamental kasha, is we know that Bilam was given the request by Balak to come and curse Klal Yisrael. And he said to all of his messengers, as we well know, I can't go unless Hashem lets me go. And finally Hashem said, if I tell you to go, go. See, he couldn't wait to go. He saddled his own donkey, as we all know, and was on his way. He was on his way until the donkey stopped off a few times. But Bilam really wanted to go. Now, Bilam obviously knew HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not want to curse Klal Yisrael. What was his possible Havamina? What could possibly Bilam be thinking? He's going to find a way to beat Hashem, to win the game, and to curse Klal Yisrael. So how could he possibly go on his trip? What was his Havamina even to get started? Hashem said to him clearly, Lo Sorasa Amki Baruch Hu. And he went anyway. So how could he have felt he could possibly have been successful? There's a very long discussion about what the concept of Nevuah is. And it's beyond the scope of this short presentation to give you all of it. But we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was considered the Navi par excellence, as opposed to all other Nevi'im. All the other Nevi'im were spoken to by Hashem Aspaklaria, through a certain channel called Aspaklaria. For lack of a better term, we'll use a piece of glass. So it's brought down, and it's quoted by Rav Gedalia, that every one of the Nevi'im was able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu based on the level of Kedusha of his own neshama. In other words, the Nevuah was channeled through the Navi's neshama and came out from the Navi through the conduit, through the channel of his neshama. All other Nevi'im had a certain extremely high level of Kedusha of their neshama, and therefore their Nevuah came out according to the level of their Kedusha. Moshe Rabbeinu's level of Kedusha was in such a high madrega that he's called Aspaklaria Hameira. It was exactly a clear piece of glass. Glass it was. He points it out very clearly. It was there because he was a Navi. He was only a Bas of Adam. Not only, he was a Bas of Adam. But his level of Nevuah was in such a high madrega that it was considered Aspaklaria Hameira, that there was nothing that was getting in the way between HaKadosh Baruch Hu's message and the Nevuah as it was transmitted. The famous examples that he brings down from the Medrash is that Avram Avinu was a Navi, was on a very high level of Nevuah, but Avram Avinu called himself Anochi Afar Ve'efer. He still had some mamashes to him. He was still something, even though he considered himself nothing. And Moshe Rabbeinu, on the other hand, was Nachnu Ma. We are speaking of himself and Aaron, we are nothing. So, in vis-a-vis HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there was no impediment getting in the way. Bilam knew that his level of Nevuah was channeled through his quote-unquote neshama, through his level of tumah, and it came out in a very, very kruma, distorted way, because that's the kind of person he was. So he thought that he could pull this off by having his nevuah. Hashem will give him his nevuah, and it's coming out through his level of nevuah, through the tahara, or lack of thereof, of his neshama, and he'll be able to get a klola through that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him an unmatched, unrivaled gift. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Bilam the level of nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu for this period of time. And as we all know, the Medrash says, Lo kam Navi b'Yisrael ka Moshe. There was no Navi in Yisrael like Moshe, but amongst the Goyim there was Bilam. How can we possibly understand that Medrash? This answers that. Yes, Bilam was a Rasha. Yes, Bilam was Tameh. Yes, Bilam was the lowest of the low. But in order to help and to save and preserve and to prevent any kolola on Bilam's part, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave this unparalleled gift of the level of nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu, so that when he said his nevuah, it came out exactly in the same way as Moshe Rabbeinu's level of nevuah was. That being the case, he was forced against his will to give the nevuah properly and give Klal Yisrael that bracha. So when we say that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the entire Torah and the Parsha of Bilam, Moshe Rabbeinu took the nevuahs of all the other Nevi'im, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, anybody else that's mentioned in the Torah, and put it through and transmitted it through his level of Kedusha, which was on an unparalleled level. So that the Torah is called Torah's Moshe. All of their nevuahs were elevated, as it were, not even as it were elevated to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, except for one, except for Bilam. Didn't require it, because it was there already. That being the case, that's what Rashi, that's according to Orgedayo, is intimating to the fact Kadosh Baruch Hu gave Bilam this unbelievable gift of being able to do this nevuah just like Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have to write the Parsha of Bilam on his level. It was already written. He was just copying it from what was already there. It was just brought down from Bilam himself. This gives us a tremendous insight into a small inkling of what's going on in this world vis-a-vis the next world. Each one of us has a neshama. Part of it's connected to us, part of it which is connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The more that we raise our neshama to a level of Kedusha, we're trying to match that portion of our neshama that's closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe Rabbeinu did it perfectly, and it shows. All the other Nevi'im did it almost perfectly, and it shows. We are so far away from this whole entire concept that we don't even know about it, and maybe this is a good chance for us to even get a little inkling as to what's going on here. So our work is cut out for us. It's our job, and we can, to keep on perfecting to the best of our limited abilities that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us as a gift, and make ourselves into true Avdei Hashem. Good Shabbos.